this is my energy update, the second one this week, and it's going to be quite fast and furious because I've got so many points to just run through. I'm in that kind of mood today, guys. Now, thank you so much to every single one of you that put lovely comments in the box from the last video you watched. I literally peeled myself off the sofa. It's going to be a bit like this, sorry. To come and do that last video before I deep dived into the depths of darkness and basically went through a massive death. And I'm still in it now. And I'm literally doing this video and I'm going back to bed because I've been lying in my bed, downloads, dreams, downloads. And I'm like, oh, this is important. We need to share this. And this week is so powerful because obviously we had the full moon in Aries yesterday, which was just basically, I'm going to be talking a lot about the 1010 portal, sandwiched in between, moved into full moon. So we have a week from Thursday to Thursday of very intense energy. 1010 feeds right into the full moon, and I'm going to get into that in a minute of the synchronicity of that, right? So let's talk about the purge. Okay, so what's actually going on? I'm always very, very aware of when I get sick, of what is going on where, okay? And what I mean by that is most of the time, all of us that are purging right now are getting that high fever, upper respiratory clearing. It's kind of like a signature ascension thing, right? So anyway, I've had obviously chest, really, really tight chest, which is always the case because we're always clearing our heart energy, which is here. I've also had right throat. This is when it started. Right throat, excruciatingly painful. And that was the divine masculine clearing. Next day, no pain. Left side, excruciatingly painful. Divine feminine clearing. So that was my pendulum swing. Then it moved up and then I had this massive congestion here, okay? To the point where I had 2 fingers on my nose. It's like somebody was doing that and now asking me to breathe in. No plan. Never felt so congested in my life. This here, all connected to the third eye. So belief systems, big, powerful breeze block belief systems were getting disintegrated because it was like the pressure. There was nothing going on here, right? And that is when we know that we are changing how our mental body sees the world. Because remember, it's all about the mind. Now, I'm going to be teaching on the 31st of October, Halloween, okay? And it's always the last Thursday of the month that I open the temple doors. The temple is my Zoom room and you are cordially invited. Costs you nothing, just need the initiates to turn up. Let's get this work done. We are going to be working with the Alchemy of Thoth. So we're going to be working with the 7 principles. And what is so crazy, but not really, is the first principle of Thoth's Hermetic principles is the principle of mentalism. So I have in true form, I have been being put through the medicine because I always have to be careful about what I say I'm going to teach, because guess what? The higher ups will go, off you go then. You need to put that one into practice. So that's what's happened. I'm living the principle of mentalism because all of the mental body stuff is changing and it's collapsing. So I'm going to be talking in this video about the timeline jump we're going through, how the principle of mentalism affects that, and how to timeline jump, basically how to let that shit go, understand what's going on here. Everything's about perception and understanding, right? Anyway, rewind. Okay, so let me take it. I told you it's going to be jumping around. Let me take it back to last Thursday, 1010 portal, live, YouTube live. We did the walk with Thoth and Yeshua. Thoth was all about collapsing down that old timeline in the Akashic records. If you didn't watch that live, I do encourage you to go and watch it because, like I said, it was very, very powerful ceremony. And because there's so many that gather on there, the energy is so high and it's so amazing and it's potent. So, of course, what we did in that ceremony is we closed the door behind us. No more referring to the past. And that was the timeline collapse, which has actually been happening this week. And then, of course, we worked with Yeshua, which is all about the resurrection, rising into that brand new body. Now, during this sickness that I've had, yesterday I felt like my head was crowning. I kept coming up to complete clarity, a real powerful energy of fuck this shit. And I just had this, yay, fuck that, yay. Sorry, I'm swearing a lot, but you get the gist. That's what was happening, right? Like, yay, no, right? And I was getting this glimpse of leaving this timeline behind. So I was like, okay, something deeply significant is happening here. And many people that I'm talking to who are also like way showers like us are going through the same thing. So it's definitely happening. So 1010 portal, that was the live that we did. Got to the Friday after that, which was the next day. I went to my daughter's graduation ceremony. Very, very powerful because it was her last day at school, my last child. No more school for Marie. Because it's all about me. Oh, look, there's my thumbs up. Okay, even my computer agrees. So like, no more school for me, no more school for my daughter, like life changes. This is definitely a graduation, right? We've completed. And then started to get really sick. And then I kind of like tumbled into the depths of this sickness, sore body and all of the things, right? Now, we moved into the full moon, which was yesterday. So there was a lot of like core shadow emotional stuff that came up with it as well. But what this full moon is also bringing is actually the closure on all of this. Whatever you've been struggling with, whatever has been your core issue, whatever has been that thing hanging around in the background, let me tell you, you're going to be feeling it. Is it like, intense feelings of emotion of, not being worthy, or that you're unlovable, or that you're, unseen or not supported? That's what was coming up for me. I kind of like always thought back in the day that I was abundant blocked. I'm not abundant blocked at all. I'm very abundant, actually. I mean, ridiculously so. And when I connect with other people, I bring a load of abundance to them as well. That's not the issue, right? But like underneath, it's like there's something else. So if you think that you're abundant blocked, I want you to go down to that next layer, because there's something else that spirit wants to show you. No doubt you may actually already know what that is, because the full moon would have shown you. And that's how intense this is. It's taken us to our core issues. The principle of mentalism is how you view and understand and perceive what it is your shadow is. And I'm actually writing a book at the moment, which is kind of cool, because it's basically bringing all of this into my focus. And one of the chapters was talking about when you try and heal something and you think that something's a certain type of way, and for some reason it will not go, and you're thinking, why is this issue still here? And then you realize that it's not what you thought it was, meaning you're trying to basically, like heal a broken arm with a plaster, and you're like, because you thought it was a graze, and like, no darling, the bone's broken, it needs a whole plaster on there, completely different thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Or you're trying to heal an earache, with an ankle strap. It's like, find out what the actual true cause is, the core belief, the faulty core belief of what it is that you've got going on. Your perception completely changes, right? And then House of Cards, it comes falling down. That will explain to you as to why maybe you've got an ongoing issue that you've just not been able to shift, because that ongoing core issue over the years has led you to the great reveal. And you go, oh my God, it's not actually an abundance block, or it's not actually this block. There's something else underneath that. That's what you would be shown. So it's all about perception. So you need to be able to truly see what exactly is in front of you. Do you know what I mean? So you can let it go and release it. Excuse me. I'm not going to be able to get this through this video without barking like a dog, right? So that's basically the whole week. So this week, the 1010 portal is has basically poured right in to the full moon, okay, to actually squash this completely. So now this leads me on to the timeline jump, right? So what exactly is a timeline jump? I'm going to explain this as briefly as possible, but just to remind you guys, the temple, okay, is actually, we're going to be teaching the Hermetic principles, as I've just mentioned, on the 31st of October. And if you come to that temple meeting, it's going to all be about these Hermetic principles and how to apply them and how to work with them, and ultimately how to guide you out of this timeline onto the next one, right? You're going to get a deep understanding of that. So now this timeline jump is all about letting go of that place that was only meant for you to wake up. And what I mean by that is, like, I actually was doing some channel writing with Thoth today. It's the best way he comes through for me. And basically, just the crux of it, he said, right, you can't heal yourself with the very thing that made you sick. Meaning you can't get answers from the timeline that has taught you all the lessons, because this timeline, this dimension that you're in was only there for you to gain mastery over your mind. So it wasn't here for you to stay. Now you're gaining mastery of your mind, and you're waking up and you're going, oh, like that thing wasn't what I thought it was. And like, oh my God, do you know what I mean? I'm starting to wake up now. I am a sovereign being. Oh yeah, okay. And then you stay in this timeline. No, this timeline and this experience was only for you to practice again and again and again and again. And I think this has taken lifetimes for you to actually crack the code and unlock the truth clear all this shit out the way, for you to see yourself as you truly are. And you are a master alchemist. You're a master at creating and everything like that. You're nothing less. So now we've got the memo, which is what's going on here. It's now time to timeline jump. But what's happening is a lot of us are sticking around going, okay, so we've got the answers. We now need to move, but you shouldn't be sticking around here. You need to go on to the next timeline and go live your best life, right? So when I spoke to Thoth and that, I asked him the question. I was like, what's going on here? And he showed me holding my emerald tablet of light, and it was glowing and it had golden codes coming off it. And I was this future self, and I was the one who knew. And I was just like, and as I visioned and I saw myself, I was very happy. I was like, this is who I really am. And for the first time ever, there was this tangible connection where I was like, yeah, you are. That is me. This isn't who I am. That is me. So waking up in a big way. So that's what's happening right now, is that you cannot stick on this timeline and expect to get any more good stuff from it. You now have to consciously say, love and light, blessings, blessings, blessings. I now consciously release you. So there's two ways I'm going to give you to do that, right? Where you can start, especially if you've got your altars popping on all cylinders, which I have at the moment, and I will continue to do so. So if you're sat at your altar or wherever your special place, right? The first thing you're going to say, any energy I have given away or left behind, I call back to my being now. And you might feel all this energy come flying into your kidneys. It might come in through your solar plexus. You might just feel a shudder. But I did it yesterday after being so horrifically sick. I clawed my way up the stairs to get to my altar on full moon. I was like, gotta get up there. And I sat there and I said, I call my energy back, any energy I've given away to people, places. And then when I said the temples, I got this massive rush of energy. So I don't know where I'd left myself in Egypt, but there was a lot of me still stuck in Egypt in the temples. I was like, hey, we need to come back. So you need to call your energy back, okay? And you'll be quite surprised as to how powerful that is and how empowered you are. You're all in one now. Because remember, when you move out of a house, you've got to go and collect your shit from the house. Move with your belongings, that's your energy, and then go, right? Now, the second one is connect with your future self, okay? Now, my energy doctor in the UK, who's lovely and amazing, she was like, right, she's actually booking out as well. She does energy frequency healing, and she said, this is done now. The energy frequency healing is getting too much. It's getting too heavy. What does that tell you? Because it's got a bit too stale and sludgy for us star seeds now, because it is done. But it can only be done if you choose it. So you have to choose it, and you have to be consciously aware. If you're still living in the story and all your drama, then you're going to stay there. You have to start pitching up to the party and putting the work in to be able to get the results. And unfortunately, if you don't do that, you will stay where you are. I mean, that I can guarantee you. So it is a choice. And that's what Thoth was saying. This isn't about whether you're able to manifest or not, because you can do it in every single moment successfully. Just because it's the shit that you don't want doesn't mean that you're not manifesting. You're doing it, right? So he said it's about choice. So we have to go right back at the beginning, even before we start visualizing something. We've got to choose. What are we choosing first of all? You're choosing to live in that timeline, or do you want to go to the new one? Okay, you want to go to the new one. Okay, great. Gather your shit, pack your stuff. It's time to go, and then connect with your future self. And that future self is me. It actually looked like I was holding a certificate. I was holding like my trophy. Like, look what I won. I was holding my tablet of light. And it was just like, yeah, that's me. And I was like, that's, yeah, okay, I'm coming, So speak to your future self in your meditations, and it will help you step out of this timeline, collapse it behind you. So remember, the energy 3 days before a moon, 3 days after a moon is at its most potent. So we are going to be in this energy of the moon, basically today, Saturday, Sunday, so the whole weekend. So we can really, really run with this. Do you know what I mean? But this moon is bringing glow ups and also meltdowns. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a mixture of both. So not everybody is in the same place. So try not to kind of like look outside of your lanes and think, well, that's not happening to me. This is a very personal you experience. This is about self. And I mean, like, my biggest purge that I went through was all about, like, my family loves me and I love them dearly too. But I had this big fat tantrum. I was lying in bed and I was so sick. I couldn't even reach out to get my phone. All I wanted to do is rub Vicks on the bottom of my feet. Okay, I sound really precious now, don't I? I was like lying there in my bed. No, everybody was in the other end of the house. I was like, no one loves me. No one loves me. And I was like, hello. I was being very dramatic, but I was snotting tears, not very well. And I said to my family, I was just like that. I felt so unseen. I felt like unsupported. Nobody loves me. And then I got to that thing of like, I give everybody so much of my energy and I look after all of you oaks. And like when I'm sick, like, you know, you guys can't be bothered. And they're just like, what? So that was a huge energy that came up for me. Did I cry? Oh, from the depths beyond my heart. I don't know where I was pulling that sadness from, but I purged that. So that was a big, big layer. So you see, it isn't about lack and limitation per se, meaning I don't have enough gold coins in my bank account or I don't have enough freedom because I want to go and do X, Y, and Z. Go underneath that. What's underneath it that you need to understand? As soon as you crack that code, the principle of mentalism will kick in because you've now gained mastery, because you understand perception is everything. And maybe you've just been looking at everything wrong. You know what I mean? Just a thought. See what I did there? Just a thought. Change that. Master the mental alchemy. And then timeline can collapse. I'll be teaching a lot more on this. Like I say, 31st of October in the temple, you know, put the invite in this post here. And, you know, we're going to be working with the Hermetic principles, which is basically, it's how we're going to move through to the next timeline. It's ancient wisdom teachings. It's ancient wisdom teachings that sit within your being. You know this stuff. And it is now time to you know, to reawaken, recall, and restore that memory. So I think that's all. Is there any other business? I don't know. My Wi-Fi's just dropped now, so I think that's it, and that's all. I'm going to go and lie horizontal. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next energy update, no doubt, in an hour. Anyway, I'm still laughing. Always laughing. Sound like I've smoked about 40 cigarettes, though. That's okay. Anyway, I love you. Keep on trucking because we're doing well, guys. We're doing well. Peace.